Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your favorite culture brother. I am your host, LB, and you are tuning in for another edition of my all-new podcast, According to Man, brought to you by RISE Chattanooga under the AMPLIFY umbrella. Let me tell you what it is right now. Right now is my favorite time of the season. We're about to head into fall. Fall is my optimal season. See, what I do is I take some of like my spring pastel colors, pair them up with some of my fall colors, you know, your dark siennas, your navies, your darker greens, your auburns. I'd be ready for that. Let me tell you something. See, in the summertime, it's so hot, you really can't put on summertime. You catch me swim trunks, little V-neck tee. You know, that's about all you're gonna get. And then let me tell you when fall come, and winter as well too. But I like fall more so because that's when I start to play around with my layers. See, I can break out colors that, you know, might not do as well in the spring as summer. We'll get more into that, you know, in probably some episodes down the line. I'm excited. I hope you're excited about it. I got, because I'm an end of season shopper. So I got stuff that I bought last year that I'm ready to throw out this year. But I'm sitting here and I'm watching this. I'll say it's a documentary. I'm not sure. I really don't watch a lot of TV, but anyway, and they're kind of talking about like just basic business principles. And so they're talking about the 80-20 rule. And I started thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? The 80-20 rule applies to so many things other than just business. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the 80-20 rule, so excuse me, essentially the 80-20 rule kind of came about as like a principle probably towards the end of the 1800s, like right before the start of the 1900s, like that long ago. Yeah. I wasn't on the scene, but, you know, I'm aware. So it basically, it came about because around that time, it was roughly estimated that about 80% of the land in the United States was owned by 20% of the people. Yeah, well, I think we can kind of guess who probably didn't own it. But anyway, so, you know, it kind of started from there and then it continued. And, you know, now it's looked at as, you know, kind of an assertion where basically it says like, hey, 80% of your outcomes are your outputs. Basically what you get out of something, 80% of that comes from like 20% of what you put into it. Like, and so it's kind of weird. People are like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, how do you get 80% of something out of 20%? Basically what it's saying is everything that you do doesn't have the same value. There are going to be some things that you do that have a lot more value than other. In business, we think of it as best practices, right? So let me give you an example. I used to work for a company. I'm not going to say the name, but they're pretty big. They're huge. But so there would always be this big need, and they'd be like, they would always talk about the different like advertising techniques that we use. So, we need to be able to get people. So we need to do newspaper and online marketing and billboards and commercials and anything you can name of, like let's put signs on the sides of buses and all types of things. Let me tell you something. See, a lot of that was wasted efforts, you know, not because, we couldn't come up with, you know, great, you know, marketing or advertising themes, but you know, what you got to look at it is what's going to yield you the biggest bang for your buck. So, you know, at the time we knew that about 60% of people that were interested in working for this company applied online. If 60% of my people are coming online, then why am I putting so much emphasis on these other types of mediums? So think about it like this. First of all, I other than what I saw on TV today, I don't recall times where I just sit down and I'm able to watch TV. When people are watching TV, what are they doing now? They're binge watching something, you know, they're streaming it. Like they're not sitting there watching. The only time people watch commercials is during the damn Super Bowl. And even then, if I could fast forward to get back to the game, I would. But, you know, and so I thought about it in terms of that. But then I started thinking about it in like my personal relationships. Like, you know what? This makes total sense. You see, I think about it like this. Think about like dating. So let's say you're dating like multiple people. There you go. Multiple people. Let's say there's a guy. He's dating, I don't know. Let's say 4 women. 4. Let's say 4. It's a good number. 4. You know, yeah. Don't judge him. But no, so let's say there's a guy, and it could be a woman. Either one. But there's a person. There you go. There's a person that's dating multiple people. So they're just dating to get to know people, to kind of see who and what they like and, you know, things of that nature. So all four of those people are probably not going to have the same value to you, because there's going to probably be one or two people that you connect with more than the other. And you know what? I thought about it, and I'll give you, this is like, I'll relate it to me, because people like you talk about everybody else, but you don't tell your bit. Yeah, I relate it to me. Like, I have dated multiple people as a single man, and there are their different values. So like there may be four people that I have, like, maybe been out, hung out with, things of that nature. But out of those four people, there's probably one or two that provide me more value than the others. There may be one that provides way more value than others. So think about it in terms of like the 80-20 rule. So let's say, okay, I'm a guy, and like I said, I am dating these four women, but one of them is supplying 75% of like my happiness, or fulfilling 75% of like my needs and wants. Then what the hell am I wasting the time with the other? See, you see what that, see how easy I just made dating? You see what I just did? I literally just broke down dating to you using four people, just four. You think about all the people that you've wasted time and efforts and energy and gifts and finances, and just, you know what? I'd be kicking my own self in the, I'd be kicking my own tail, because I'd be like, you know what? I need to keep this top of mind. Like, I need to stop this is what I call it, sowing dead seeds. I know I'm not going to get back what I'm putting in. I know that my input is going to outweigh my output. So why the hell should I even waste the time in doing it? I can't be the only person that's thinking this. I can't be. There's no way. I mean, it's the same thing in doing. I'll tell you this. I can tell you so many people that decided to venture into, entrepreneurship, because they felt like they were sowing these empty seeds. Like, hey, I'm working for someone, doing something that I don't necessarily prefer. I'm not passionate about it. I'm really not getting any reward out of it. You know what I'm getting out of it? I'm getting a paycheck. That's what I'm getting out of it, a paycheck. You know what a paycheck means to a lot of people? It just means you can keep the light on. Because to me, money ain't never made me happy. I thought it was going to make me happy. I had a little money, not a lot, just a little change. I mean, real little. Like, I ain't talking about no. And that little change that I had, you know what? It was the most miserable time of my life. You know why? Because I was putting in so much to get so little back in return. Me personally, like just me. Now, the effect on what I was doing with the employer, was a whole grander scale. But in terms of what I individually got out of it, I didn't. I lost. It was like this. I compare it to this. It's like going to the casino, you get on the craps table. Oh no, you know what? I'll make it even simpler. It's like going to the casino and you get on the blackjack table. So you want to get 21. I hit like my first 2-3 hands with the dealer, and then after that I never won again. Like, that's what it felt like. Like, I felt like, oh yeah, I done made it now. And then, you know what? I just started taking loss after loss after loss. And I realized, I was like, you know what? This is not a good balance for you. This is not, you're putting in way more than you're getting out. And that's the way that I'm sitting here thinking about, and not just talking about like relationships that are of a sexual nature. Like, I even mean in friendships. Like, sometimes you have friends that will suck you to hell dry, and not in a good way. Like, sometimes you find this with your true friends. Everybody kind of knows what their role is, but sometimes people need you so much more than you need them. Doesn't mean that they're bad people. Doesn't mean that, you're perfect. Well, you're not perfect. Hell, I know that. Every time I walk by the mirror, I say, it'll do. But at the same time, I also realize that I've got to be selective with my energy and my investments. And that's really the point that just kind of, resonated with me today when I saw, the documentary on TV. And I really wanted to just kind of touch on it a little bit, because I feel like, people, you always hear this. Maybe they say, if you work hard, good things will come to you. That is I'm not gonna say it's a lie. That's not always true. That's what I'll say. Like, sometimes you can be somewhere busting your tail. You can bust your tail in a relationship. Don't mean it's gonna work out. You know why? Because it takes a collective effort to make it work out. And a lot of times you over here giving 80, 90%. The other person won't even give you the little funky 10 or 20% to even get y'all to be in somewhat whole. So what happens is, you know what? This is what happens. You run out. You run out of everything. You run out of energy. you run out of desire to make things work. And you get to a point to where you say, you know what, this is not what I'm putting in is not even remotely equating to what I'm getting out. So, hey, that's my spiel for today. Hey, it's time to get to my favorite segment and your favorite segment. It's time for another edition of Dear LB. I'm going to jump right into it here today. So my first Dear LB question says, I'm so used to being in control and handling everything that I don't realize how much of a control freak I am. Oh, okay, look at you being honest with yourself. Oh, control freak. I want to submit, but sometimes... Wait. Let me read this again. She says, I want to submit. Oh, okay, I got it. Okay. Apology. Maybe that's me. She says, I want to submit sometimes, but I'm so used to not having a supportive partner, and the bigger piece of that problem is I haven't been able to consistently have it. So I'm still somewhat unaccustomed to it. Let me tell you something. And I mean, this is a very simple statement, but there's so many layers to it. You're not alone. You're not alone in how you're feeling, why you're feeling that way. You're not alone in the things that you talk about being used to having control. I dated a woman like that. Well, I think this is a woman that submitted this, but I dated a woman like this before. She was not a bad person. I did think in my mind at times, like, my gosh, she's such a control freak. I'm gonna tell you what it is, though. I think you went through your situation. You made it pretty clear for me. Like, you said it yourself. You're not used to having a supportive partner. It makes perfect sense. And it took me a while being around this woman that I dated. And she was probably real similar to yourself, that she was just so used to being everything. I mean, everything. She was, let me tell you what she was. She was the cook, the cleaner, the nurturer. She ran errands. She was like Alice on the Brady Bunch. She did it all. Like, damn. Like, and most women do, but it was like, I was just, when I first found myself engaging her, I would have these thoughts, and I never had these thoughts before. I was like, well, what's my role? Like, I don't feel like I feel like she's doing so much. And so, I would chime in and try to do things. I'll give you this example. So there was a time where she had a medical procedure, and so they wanted her to be on bed rest, right? So I'm in the kitchen. I had fixed her something to eat, and I'm getting ready to clean up. And she gets out of the bed. And so they tell her, not to raise her arms like up above her shoulders, right? I turn around. I'm already kind of agitated as she got out of bed. I'm like, oh, you need to be resting. I'm one of those OCD over the top people like, lay down, But I look, and she's trying to like take the garbage out. Now, everybody knows you've got to pull the garbage bag up, right? Which means what? You're gonna have to raise your arm. So I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? And it literally kind of became like combative for a little bit. And I'm like I'm thinking this in my mind. You can't be so conditioned to being this independent that, damn, you can't let. And then, you know what? I had to sit back and I had to think on it. And I was like, you know what? It's probably, as much as it's a struggle for me to try to wrap my mind around her being so everything, like just everything. It's probably just as hard for her to let go, because in order to let go, you know what you have to do? You have to trust people. So that was the first thing I said. Okay. I said, no, she's never had a consistent group of people that she can trust. That's number one, like that. So I'm like, okay, all right, it's starting to, now you know what I'm doing? I'm laying the framework. Now I'm starting to kind of understand it. So you're not just way far off, And like I said earlier, when I say you're not alone, I mean, you're not alone in your thought process. But you also have to, when you're engaged with friends and people that may be more than friends, like, the purpose of building those relationships is to concretize the fact that you are not alone. I think it comes with, this is the thing, we have to be able to slowly delegate to people before we can begin to trust in them. It doesn't mean that you put all your eggs in one basket. That's fool. We just talked about that with the 80-20. It's not about putting all your eggs in one basket. It's about putting the right eggs in the basket, right? So let me tell you something, woman. Listen, I hope that you are able to continue to develop and evolve and be able to trust in something or someone that is worthy. Like, don't be out here just, anybody that come along. Like, I know I hope you're smarter than that, but I do understand that, relinquishing control is a lot. Like it's, for me, there was a time where I went from being in a supervisor role and I took a couple of steps backwards. And one of the questions that people always ask me is, well, you're so used to being in control. How do you think you're going to adjust now to not being a supervisor? I said, last time I checked, everybody report to somebody unless you own the damn company. So just tell me where you need me to be. But hey, look, thank you for your question. I wish you all the best. But you probably one of those people that like hold the remote in bed. Hey, let that thing go, girl. Anyway, all right. So the next question, it says, oh, this is from a man. All right, come on, brother. He says, I know men get trashed for being lackluster fathers. Oh, you going, see, you, oh, hell. You're going to fill up my DMs with this. So look, all right, okay, I'm going to take one for the team. I know men get trashed for being lackluster fathers. I'm not saying that the majority of it may not be warranted, but how come women don't get the same backlash? Let me tell you something. They get it from me. Listen. You know what? Bravo. I would give you a standing ovation, but I mean, you can't see me right now, but I'm standing. But anyway, you know what? That's a very good point. Yeah, it is. You're right. But I'm gonna tell you this. See, this is the thing for me. So let me slow it down because I be done just jumped and just took off with it. So one thing that I've adapted, just me, my personal philosophy as a man. I don't necessarily wait on other people to change things that bother me. I say that to point out if men are getting trashed for being lackluster fathers, then we need to be those men that are either that example of, hey, here's what a stand-up, nurturing, protective, responsible, mature man looks like. And if we're not that example, we need to be that voice for other men. So, like I can think of some fellas right now. I'm not gonna say the name because they know how much I think of them because I tell them, and they're wonderful examples of fathers. I have to be that missing voice for them. You know why? Because the easy way out is to just repeat history. Oh, well, my father wasn't around. I don't really know nothing about raising kids. Shit. That's kind of, what their mama do. No. Let me tell you something. Everything in life is about balance. Everything. Everything's about balance. You want to drive a car? It's got to be balanced. You got to have 4 tires. You want to walk? You got to have 2 legs. Well, I mean, you can hop, but that's not walking. But anyway, the point is, it's so important for us not to worry about other people boosting, boasting, or cheering us on. We should be cheering ourselves on. But in the same regard, we also should be holding ourselves accountable. See, the people don't want to talk about that. They don't want to say, listen here, because I'm going to tell you right now, like, you can say what you want. I don't really care. This is what's great when you're comfortable in your own manhood and you're not worried about anybody else's opinion. I don't have friends that I consistently associate with that don't work to try to be the best men and the best father that they can be for their kids. You know why? Because I would hope they wouldn't allow me to be mediocre in that as well. I think it's important. But one of my good friends, and you hear a lot of people say iron sharpens iron. Iron can't sharpen plastic. You know why? Because that iron going to bust that plastic. It's going to rip it to shreds. You know why? Because you're cut from a different cloth. It's our job to hold ourselves accountable. And you are right. Let me tell you something. It's just as many deadbeat moms as it is dad. Well, I mean, that's because, women outnumber us. But I think this is my thing. I don't think you have to trash anybody. I think you can give an honest opinion if you are a part of that situation. If it directly applies to you. I don't really get caught up in other people's opinion of me, because people can never see the type of parent that you are from 1000%. They only see little glimpses of you when you're at sporting events or when you're out in public. They don't see the things that you do at home with your kids. So if what you're doing for your child it should, you know, let me tell you something. Ain't no luster in being a parent. You know when the luster comes to being a parent? When your child has now become a successful, functioning adult and they can make rational decisions and they're respectful and they're thoughtful and they're caring and they're nurturing and they appreciate the things that you gave up for them. Like, that's when you get the luster of being a parent. So let me tell you, I know it can be hard sometimes, brother. So I do want to tell you, listen, hey, I don't know you personally. I don't have to know you personally, man. Look, I hope, you know, that whatever your situation is, you know, I pray that you find a way to, this is what you need. This is what you probably need to work on. You don't need other people to validate you. Because you know who's going to validate you? That child going to validate you. That's all the validation you need. That's it. And if it's a small child, it's not that they have to say things. They don't have to tell people. Let me tell you what validation is of being a great father. When you come home and you take that key, you unlock that door, and you hear that child running through the house because they're so excited to see you because you finally done got off work. That's all the validation you need, brother. Listen. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of According to Man. I am your favorite culture brother, LB. Thank you guys for your questions, concerns, comments. Keep them coming. For those of you, hey, that want to follow me, want to check out all my episodes, hey, you can catch us on Transistor. You can catch me on Apple Podcasts. You can follow me on social media. On Instagram, it's all lowercase ATM_LB. And you can follow me on my Facebook at Lenward Lee Brackin Jr. Thank you guys again. According to Man, I'm out.